Hey everybody, I'm Elise Wong and today I'm going to share with you a time-lapse video along with commentary on how I painted this rabbit dragon zodiac. Yeah. For this piece, it was like highly experimental. There was like a lot of failures, a lot of a lot of things that did not go the way I wanted to. But I just kind of like these are one of the pieces that just kind of tough it out and just continue. And because I see there was potential, and I just kept going at it, and I was actually very happy with the results. But it's also all thanks to my viewers in my live stream. They give wonderful feedback, and I learn from them a lot. So it's really just about hanging out and have fun and get to know each other from all over the world. So if you ever do go online and you see that I'm live streaming, please feel free to hang out and just say hi. I would love to get to know you a little better. This piece was also inspired by a game called Ori and the Blind Forest, which I played, and I will share with you a pop-up link on the playlist so you can go check that out. Anyways, without further ado, hope you enjoy. I start with the lasso tool and then I just block in the colors. This is usually what I do in the beginning. I always block in the flat colors and I always paint the background first. And for this, it's all highly experimental, and at this stage you shouldn't be afraid to experiment. And it's quite difficult because we always have that little perfectionist bug in all of us that we're just too afraid to make mistakes. But if you're not if you're not brave to make mistakes, then you won't learn from those mistakes. And that's it comes a point where you have to push yourself to not be afraid. And even you can see right now that all this shading, she looks really ugly at this point. And even I thought that I will never make it this far. I thought that I would probably throw this in the trash bin. So yeah, but I just I felt like, okay, I think it still has potential, so I just kept painting and painting. So slowly getting better, I realized that, well, number one, the skin tone was really really dull, and then I slowly elongated, made her face look thinner, and her flesh tones, the contrast is not so vast, like the shadows are not very prominent anymore, so she has more of a gentle look to her. I changed the way her eyes looked, a little softer as well, instead of those harsh lines. Then I slowly moved on to the hands, and even then, the hands did not look very, very good. You can see that I will correct that later on. So things were starting to look better, and I felt a little more confident as I progressed, so I slowly shaded in her body and give her like forearms. And her hair is black, so you don't put in too much contrast. Just like give it a little bit of gray, and that's all you need really for black hair. So I kind of realized at this point that I really gotta work on my hands. So I took a picture of my own hands as reference and I slowly tweaked it. Instead of starting from scratch, I just tweak whatever that I already painted, and I slowly adjusted it, and then I copy and paste and flip horizontally for the other hand as well. So yeah, a reference photo goes a long way. For this particular piece, I don't have a reference photo. However, I do have a 3D app which I shared in my YouTube video about. I gave a review on the 3D app which I use, which is very helpful, especially at this time where I really want to improve on my humans. That app is so helpful. So I thought to give a little Easter egg of her wearing a necklace with a sign that says rabbit, because this is my Chinese zodiac project, and for this theme it's bunny dragons. So yeah, and then I painted in the dress, and I always like to add in some patterns and a little bit of lace. I quite like lace, it just kind of adds that instant elegance to it. So I started with my little bunny and basic shapes as usual, and I used a textured brush to give it that like scale-like texture, which is very, very helpful. I I thought to kind of give it an iridescent feel, so I kind of used some light colors to make it look a little shiny as well. This piece I was actually doing this piece, and then halfway I do my games artistry study as well, and that really brings in a lot of inspiration to me, I find. And I don't think a lot of artists play video games, so I do stream the games that I think that are really beautiful. And for this, I was inspired by Ori and the Blind Forest. You can check out my playlist where I streamed Ori and the Blind Forest. The color blending in that game is truly inspirational, and that inspiration has kind of overflowed to this piece where I made it a point to study the game, and I kind of used the colors that was kind of like very pleasant to the eye, and I just kind of add that into this piece as well. So I tried to make everything kind of cohesive and very pleasing. The wings, I wanted to do kind of like dragonfly wings, and it was quite a challenge. I was stuck at this point for a while, and it was really great that people joined me in my live stream and they kind of give their feedback, what they thought about it, and we had a lot of fun. So if you ever feel interested in hanging out and just kind of like hang out with the art squad, just feel free to jump in and don't be shy, just hang out. And you can realize, like, in this piece I made a lot of amendments. Even the wings, you can tell I'm like spending a whole lot of time in it, and even the background has changed, and you know, it's just a whole lot of experimenting that goes into it. You know, you never really know what you're doing until you do it. So I did the same thing. You block in the colors, and my viewers were suggesting to go for a different color, go for a red pinkish kind of thing, so I did that and kind of went for a different colored dragon. And at first it started to look like a little evil bunny, but then I slowly add in some soft colors and the horns as well. I use a textured brush. The textured brush will be provided forward to my patrons over at Patreon, as well as the PSD files, the full video of me painting this, as well as the full resolution file. So you can check that out over at my Patreon page. So yeah, and then one of the viewers, he gave me a lot of Photoshop tips, which was very, very helpful. And I kind of experimented as well on live stream, so there was a little bit of that. And I softened her shading, so I used an airbrush for that as well. I kind of make the shadows a little bit different colors, so the shadows don't always look pure black, you know, it kind of looks a little magenta-like. And just kind of do all the finishing touches with all the lighting and all the glowing effect as well, especially when I want these two dragons to kind of glow so you can see their colors everywhere. Thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, I really appreciate that like and subscribe, and if you like it and find it helpful, please leave a comment down below. And if you want to help support my channel, you can go over to my Patreon page, which links are down below in the video description. Or if you don't want to, you can also leave a tip over at PayPal. Hope to see you guys in the next stream. That's all for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao!